Thanks, Aganksha. Very good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here talking to all of you, and thank you so much for making time. SaaS as a business model and now as a key term in the ecosystem has been getting more and more prominence in the last few months. I think first came across a SaaS solution back in 2013, 14. From there, entering the ecosystem, and today where it is, you see the surging momentum where from disparate or one-off products that we would use, today most of the solutions you and I are using, can be bucketed into the SaaS category, into the SaaS solution category. More interestingly, in 2021, we saw a 50% increase in the revenue generated by SaaS startups. We saw 3x increase in terms of venture capital funding into this particular ecosystem. We, of course, had multiple IPOs and exits, being spoken of in the ecosystem in India and globally. More interestingly, we have seen evidence of Indians being able to build products not only, which are unique to India, but also extremely relevant for global markets, which are new to the world. And this is where the question really became is that if we have this momentum, what is it that we can really do, as an organization, as an ecosystem enabler, to give it a bigger push to sort of ensure that this growth rate is not only sustained, but is actually accelerated. And this is where this whole initiative comes into the play. What is it that we can do in terms of increasing the revenue growth from 50% year on year to 70% year on year? What is it that we can do in terms of increasing the venture contribution from 3x once to 3x growth every year? And those are the questions where a lot of discussions started to happen. And Justin, I'll maybe request you to give a perspective from SAP Startup Studio side, from SAP side, like why are we doing this now? What's the angle there?
Absolutely. Thanks, Atit. I think you kind of laid the context quite well. And, as we all know, the last 3-4 years have been a very exciting time for India as an ecosystem, right? We have really matured as an ecosystem. There are strategic areas of, investment focus, as well as a lot of homegrown, entrepreneurs delivering, top-notch solutions for the world, right? And as SAP Startup Studio, while we started off the journey back in 2016, our intent was more around driving a lot of the conversations around how can, growth stage or, early stage companies could collaborate with SAP, leverage the enterprise mentorship, that kind of a model. But, over the last couple of years, we've really pivoted from that approach of mentorship-led engagement to more of a co-innovation and then creating real value for our customers and the startups collaborating. And one fundamental thing that we've seen all through is a significant momentum around the SaaS ecosystem, right? Especially the enterprise SaaS ecosystem. Today, out of the 105 plus unicorns that we have in the country, there are multiple of them who fall under the enterprise SaaS, that bucket. And if you look at it, there are different flavors of it. There's today SaaS has grown into a lot of conversations. Now you have a lot of clustering which has happened. Now there's a lot of focus around vertical SaaS, which is essentially delivering real value for some of the key industries, right? And I believe this is where we as SAP Startup Studio, we started really thinking, we really wanted to see how could we really leverage some of these niche innovations which are coming out of each of these industry verticals, and how can we really get these, various founders together and create more value for them with a very focused approach around co-innovation, have a lot of conversations with our customers, and then create real value by bringing in the product ecosystem, both within SAP as well as outside SAP, right? So that was the whole, if I have to call it, the genesis of how we went about this journey.
No, absolutely. I think it's a very important point you pulled out, right? A good majority of SaaS unicorns in India are focused on large enterprises, and then the remaining, if you see, are focused on SMBs, and a significant portion of those SMBs are again focused on solutions where you need a partner like SAP being there, right? Purely from a perspective of the fact that there's a lot of richness of data and capability which sits in your ERP, which you can leverage for more specific solutions, going forward. And the other piece, I think, what we had found out during one of our recent studies with Charate was that channel partnerships, alliances become a key leverage, for a company to grow, especially if you're going overseas. And in that particular sense, corporates, do have a very significant role to play in terms of enabling the ecosystem through real, tangible value addition in terms of revenue or in terms of that visibility which is there. I'll maybe, sort of ask this last question and then we can, head off to Akanksha. Just in, there is this element of knowledge, there is this element of capability, which you want to bring in. What is it that, one thing you would say that, we would want to be known for, or the ecosystem can expect from SaaS Club, as a community? What would be that one thing you would, put it out there?
Yeah. So I think, as you rightly pointed out, it's been, I think we had a tremendous funding year last year. This has been a lot, kind of a funding winter this time around. A lot of the startups, very solid on their fundamentals, have been able to really, stay afloat and scaling up, right? We can see even, surrounding a lot of negativity, there's a lot of interesting positive news coming out of how our ecosystem is really disrupting the world, right? In terms of the adoption of UPI by multiple European countries, and some of the other economies in Asia also considering. So, I mean, these are true reflection of how the ecosystem is evolving. And I believe as SaaS Club, our intent is to see how we can create more value through a very focused co-innovation led go-to-market, right? So for me, co-innovation is one large piece of the whole engagement. But for us to get there, we need to have a lot of conversations. We need to bring the community together. We need to bring like-minded enterprise SaaS founders who have the drive, who would want to collaborate, who would want to synergize with large technology vendors like us, and really leverage the partner economy, right? So I think one fundamental thesis behind this whole engagement is also to enable or create more awareness about how could early stage as well as growth stage startups leverage or have a very focused partner economy as part of their strategy, right? Because fundamentally that is what will enable you scale. Actually, later today you will hear one very interesting story from SAP Startup Studio, one of the founder part of the panel, how they really stayed committed to the course of engagement with SAP, and they've kind of evolved into what they're today. So I believe on a good day or a bad day, I think partner having that openness in terms of collaborating with large technology vendors like SAP and others should be one of the key strategies for any founders to ensure that you're able to scale and you're able to take your solutions to a broader market. And also, if you look at it, all of us, there are sweet spots in our product portfolio, some of which are very niche solutioning areas, which may not be an area of focus for some of the companies like us. That's a very clear area where startups can come and really pitch in and really create the magic of coming together and create more value for our end customers. So I think precisely the whole intent behind SaaS Club is to drive these conversations. I'm a big believer in driving conversations, and I believe conversations should lead into something tangible. And our sincere attempt at SaaS Club is to see how we can really steer some of these conversations and then enable co-innovation led go-to-market for the community members out here.
No, absolutely. I think, we speak a lot about democratizing access to knowledge. I think it's now about, doing something similar with capabilities and giving access to that capabilities, to multiple people for their growth. You spoke about interesting stories. I think we should not stay between the audience and that story. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for making it to the launch event. We really appreciate you joining us. And with that, back to Akanksha to take the conversation further. Thanks, Asim.
Thanks, Atit.